Good evening, this is Martin Rother, and this is video number 21 in our little series of An American Experience, a book by Matthew Bolt, which is me, which looks like that a little bit, available on all book outlets, I guess. And this is about Think Before You Complain on page 83. Now, how do I start this? When Think Before You Complain, that's the name of the chapter. And what I try to say in that chapter is as follows. When people complain, it's actually very simple. When people complain, they complain about, situations, other people, whatever have you. But my point in complaints is as follows. For instance, people complain to their supervisor about, misbehavior of their coworker, or people complain about how people drive very often. For instance, they don't use the blinker, they don't turn down their high beams, and stuff like that. Or, various situations. Or they go too slow, they drive 30 in a 45 zones. All very annoying things. And or they cut you off, they come rushing out of a parking lot of a restaurant while you're coming down the road with 40 miles per hour, and you have to brake or change the lane to not hit that vehicle and stuff like that. It happens not all the time, but happens quite frequently, and you also hear about it by friends and family. Very annoying situations, very annoying situations. Or you go into a supermarket and one particular item which was there yesterday is not available anymore today. So you go to the sales manager or supervisor and say, well, what's the situation here? And she says, well, we have ordered it, but not there yet. And you complain. All right, so you can complain about all these different subjects. Or you go to a restaurant, they got the order wrong. Now they have to reorder, or you have to wait another 20 minutes. Instead you decide, well, just let it be, and so on and so forth. So complaints are a very natural thing. There's, I don't think, a lot wrong with complaints. But what I try to do and what I try to say in that chapter is that think before you complain refers to basically me trying to say, what would you do in that person's situations? Or how would it be for you if you would be in that sales manager's shoes, or if you would be the one who pulls out of a driveway with disregard to other traffic going through and coming through. And that's all, what if you would be the one who's texting on your phone and going 20 in a 45 miles per hour zone, stuff like that. So what I really try to say is, I guess, think before you complain, probably referring to an old, Bible story. Those, or how does it say? Those, or the people without sins cast the first stone, or something like that. It goes something like that. Read it as a kid, and I think that kind of compares to it a little bit. I try to be patient. Well, I guess I'm generally a patient person, but if I go down the road, see all sorts of kinds of things which aren't really correct, people going too slow, people jumping traffic, people changing lanes without the blinker, and whatever have you, but I try to think, did I do that also at one point in my life? And I need to answer yes to that question. Was I was I responsible for an area, and I messed it up at one point in time, so people were upset about my mess up? Yes, that happened also. Did I cuss? Yes, I did. Numerous, did I deliver something, or did I not deliver something to a person which I should have delivered? Yes. Did I broke a promise? I did, I gotta admit. Or did I tell another person I'm gonna be there, and then I wasn't? That happened too. I totally forgot about it. So what I try to say is, be patient with your, neighbors, with with the salespeople, with people you meet, with your family and with your friends, or even with strangers. Try to, if you can. Sometimes you are so upset you just can't, but at least make an attempt. How about that? Make an attempt to put yourself in that other person's shoes first. I guess that's what I try to convey, and that's what I try to bring across. Before you get upset, try to think, if you have not done a similar thing or the same thing in the past and were the reason why other people got upset, which is the same reason why you now are upset over that situation or about that person. And I think, as for me, I became much more calmer. I don't get, all bent out of shape so easily anymore. I still complain about situations, I gotta admit, sometimes here and there, but it worked for me. It worked for me, and I try to tell my wife all the time too. And people I meet, that's all good and fine. He was wrong or she was wrong and stuff like that. But try to be the greater person, if you will. Try to put you in the shoes of that other person. Try to have some compassion, I guess. That would be the Christian way. Try to have some compassion for the person who did you wrong, or who made a mistake, or who is not paying attention, who's texting on her phone while driving, whatever is the situation. I think that's what I really try to say. If some people would have more compassion with the mistakes of other people, then they would be calmer. It would be much calmer, and maybe we would have less shootings. I don't know. I don't want to go that far, but at least if parents, for instance, convey that message to their children, before you get mad about a situation, you think, if you have not, or if you weren't guilty of causing a similar upsetting situation in the past as well. That might help. That would be a good raising kids advice, I guess. But generally speaking, try to be compassionate if you see somebody doing something stupid or incompetent, and try to do it, for one, better yourself, and try to put yourself in your shoes. And for three, think about a situation where you also have done something similarly upsetting. And then, with the three factors involved, I guess you have let me see, a less stressful life. At least that is for me, less stressful life. So it does help. So if you see something upsetting, try to put yourself in the same situation. Maybe it helps. And in the long run, be calmer, be less aggressive. Something like to that effect.